The USAMF's 50th, 4th, 9th, and 12th Armored Regiments have surrounded the entire park with M1A1 and M1A2 Abrams tanks and infantry heavily armed with M72 Laws and M203 grenade launcher attachments covering north, south, east, and west of the park. Each soldier gives updates of what is happening within the park, especially to Brigadier General Jeffrey Gordon, who is in charge of monitoring one person who has the power to summon a monster. As for the man himself, Kenjiro Honda is laying on his back in the middle of the polo field with his hands on his stomach, staring into the sky above him. He watches the clouds pass by as a calm breeze blows the bangs of his hair. He hears footsteps on the grass, 2 pairs of footsteps, and they're getting closer. He looks to his right. To his surprise, Mario and Luigi Giovanni are in the park. With them is Poochie, the German Shepherd, on a leash. The brothers' faces doesn't say that they are worried or frightened, but calm, more than calm. Relaxed even. Honda sits up with his legs crossed. The brother sits down on their knees. Poochie gets next to Honda and lays down beside him. Honda smiles and rubs the dog's head. So, what brings you guys here? We came to see how you're doing. Ah, I see that your Italian accent is gone. Hey, when you live in a foreign country for 45 years, it happens to the best of us. But we haven't forgotten our Italian language. What about you, Luigi? Same with me. So, how are you holding up? Pretty well, surprisingly. Although holding back a kaiju like Gamera is proving to be really hard. The 3 collectively gives out a heavy sigh. They come together and lean against each other's backs. Poochie lays on Genjiro's lap. All 3 men look up into the sky and watch the clouds as another calm breeze blows down onto them. Hey, I never got the chance to say thank you for sticking by my side last night. Oh, it's nothing. No, really. I'm really grateful that you held your own. And I'm glad that you 2 are still alive. Well, you gave us a scare. You were impaled like a cow and you reanimated. Do both of us a favor and please don't do that ever again. Sorry about that. And seriously, consider being more careful next time. Wakata. Honda looks down from the moving clouds above. He thinks back to the conversation with his master, Miki Sagusa, and the words that she told him. It makes him worry for his own future, which is why he made a decision. Hey, Giovanni, I'm kind of glad that you managed to catch me. I was just about to leave. Oh, well, you don't have to tell us that. We'll see you back at the house. Not that. I'm heading back to Japan. Wait, I thought you were banned from entering the country. I am. I just need to get in range. Maybe Hawaii or Midway. What for? It's a little complicated to explain, but if I don't do this in the next 24 hours, I will die. Mario and Luigi are stunned at what he just said, and hearing the tone in his voice means that he is serious in what he says. Oh, I see. Well, we're not going to stop you. We'll see you when you get back. Hey, actually, maybe you can fight Godzilla on your way there. Yeah, that's another complicated matter. Hearing that from his mouth makes both brothers raise an eyebrow. Oh, by the way, as I was going through my collection, I seem to be missing some stuff. What do you mean? I got a question for the 2 of you. What did you do to my manga collection? Huh? What are you talking about? You have a massive collection of manga and comics, not to mention almost all of the video games you play on a regular basis. No, not that. I'm talking about the manga that I collected throughout the 1990s. What did you do to them? Oh, those. Yeah, we kept them safe in the attic. Oh, thank God. If I find out that there's one single volume missing, I'm kicking both your asses to the fucking moon. Both of the brothers' butts clenches, and they become spooked by his words. Anyway, I'm off. Off, Poochie. The dog moves at his master's command. Honda stands up from the grass onto its 2 feet. He stretches his body and takes a few steps forward. The brothers turns their bodies at him and watches him as he begins to go off. But suddenly, he stops. He sniffs the air. Then he snaps his head to his left. Poochie lifts his head up from the grass and looks at what his master is looking at. The shepherd leaps to his feet and growls. The brothers turn to what they are looking at. To their horror, it is not who they wanted to see. Stopping just 10 yards away is Eleanor Harrington. In her hands are the electric sword and the Inferno whip. The Mario brothers stands on their feet as both Hellraiser and Dragonborn stare each other down. Honda? Zeus? You concoct the act. I know what you're about to do. And what, pray tell, do you think I'm going to do? Commit more crimes and getting away with it, while dodging your true fate? You're way off the bar with that one. Look, this is not the time for us to do this. I have a lot going on as is. Not to mention, Godzilla is still heading here. You know what? I've been thinking about that. It turns out that communist turtle was onto something. Maybe Godzilla does have a reason for coming here. Like I said, this is not the time for this. And I suggest you stay far away from me as possible. I actually don't want to hurt or kill you. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Hellraiser gets ready to dash at Dragonborn. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on a minute. A voice suddenly stops her before she does. Two Mongolian men disguised in AMF uniforms reveal themselves in front of the four. Let's not be so hasty, Miss Hellraiser. After all, he's Empress Ozawa's target. Who the hell are you? Hello, Honda. Hello to you too, Balama. Ah, so you do remember us. Good, because Red Mongolia hasn't forgotten about you. I kind of wish that I didn't remember you. Well, that's too bad. You should have known that we were going to find you sooner or later. We didn't know that you were still alive. Until you fought King Bowser. The way you fought him. Pretty reckless if you ask me. If only shenanigans didn't happen as they did. Another Mongolian, Altan, stands beside his comrade. Well, guess what? We've waited for far too long for our revenge. For what you did to our Empress and her father. I did what I had to do! They fucking deserved it! A dark aura appears around the Mongolians. A pale white ghostly horse appears from Altan's body. Tenigalach! The horse heads for Hellraiser. She dodges out of the way and attacks them with her whip. A shield appears and protects them. A third Mongolian hitman appears behind Dragonborn and grabs onto him. He takes out a knife, but before he shanks him in the neck, Poochie bites his arm, causing him to release the weapon. Honda elbows him, turns around, and punches his head. The skull shatters into blood and pieces, and the hitman's body falls over. Hellraiser, seeing her chance, aims her sword and shoots a bolt at him. Mario and Luigi grabs Honda and gets him out of the way of the bolt. Honda asks the brothers why they are doing this. They respond, because we're protecting our brother. Honda tells Poochie to find his way home, and that the dog does. Balaban and Altan mounts on the ghostly horses. Spears and swords appears in their hands. They charge at the fallen Dragonborn. Honda grabs Mario and Luigi by the waist with his arms and runs as fast as he can from them. The Mongolian hitmen follow him, while Hellraiser gives chase via the air. Wait, why aren't you using Night Fury? Do you want innocent civilians to get killed? Now hang on! Dragonborn picks up the pace. From above, Eleanor throws an electro spear down below, but the bow misses when Honda steps to the side. The hitman reaches up to them and swings their swords, aiming for his head. They too miss when he ducks and picks up speed. 18 yards ahead, two more Mongolians appear with M4A1 carbine rifles in their hands. They fire their rifles, but the bullets doesn't hit him because he constantly dodges them. He jumps and kicks one of the Mongolians in the head, kicking his brain out, killing him instantly. The gunfire is heard by the AMF, and they become concerned. Back with Honda and the Mario brothers. Alright, that's enough. It's time to end this. I am not letting you make the situation a lot worse! A Mongolian springs up and knocks Honda off of his feet. The man loses his grip on the brothers, and the three topple to the ground. Honda stops himself and looks up. Hellraiser throws another electro spear at him. He catches it with his right hand. The Mongolian who tackled him charges at him with an aura-covered sword. Honda ducks and slaps the man with the electrified hand. The man becomes stunned, allowing Mario and Luigi to smack him away with their flaming hammers. Honda grabs the two again and runs for it. Eleanor throws another bolt, but misses again, hitting a tree instead. Three more Mongolians in AMF uniforms pops out of bushes and fires M72 logs at Dragonborn, but Honda jumps out of the way and the rockets explode on the trees. Burning tree bark falls onto the ground and other tree branches, resulting in a massive fire. Eleanor flies down, catching the raging inferno, and creates another whip. She slams it towards Dragonborn but misses. She gets behind him and whips him, aiming for his head. He ducks his head, stops, drops Mario and Luigi, grabs Eleanor by the shirt, and throws her back up into the air. She stops in midair and gathers up bolts. Another Mongolian pops up and fires her rocket launcher. Honda drags up dirt and the rocket hits the dirt wall, but the blast sends him and the Mario brothers into Stow Lake. Dragonborn grows gills in his neck and swims towards the brothers. From above, Hellraiser throws a ball of lightning into the lake. Honda grabs the brothers and torpedoes himself out of the water just as the ball expands its bolts throughout the water. Honda lands on the ground and continues to run. Honda, you're repeating your mistake from the past! How? The man gets hit. A javelin thrown by Balama hits Honda in the leg. At the same time, an electro spear hits him through the shoulder. He and the Giovannis falls onto the dirt of Big Wreck Ball Field. A few humans passing by looks and sees the commotion. Like that. Fuck. You. Immediately, AMF soldiers puts up barricades to block anyone from getting any closer. As a few soldiers checks on the three, the crowds take out their phones and cameras and begin recording. Lying on his stomach, Kenjiro lifts himself up from the dirt. Mario and Luigi gets up and rushes over to their friend. They snap their fingers and their combat gear replaces their regular clothing. They stand against the gathering Mongolian hitmen and Hellraiser. Inside of Madison's house, east of the park, she continues to type on her keyboard. She has been trying to hack into the AMF database. The chances of her getting caught by the AMF, who are outside no less, are very high, but she is going as fast as she can. Suddenly, a notification sound. Yes, I'm in! On the website, the message blocking Ghidorah Honda's name disappears. His name is now available. She clicks on the name immediately, and a list appears on the screen. To her surprise, there's only 4. Huh, I thought he would have more than this. She clicks on the first one titled Coec, and right away there is a detailed analysis on it. Shortened for cancellation of the English cross, subject can cross his arms like a Christian cross, and any ability it comes in contact with negates it within 0.05 seconds. She backs out and clicks on the second one titled Mana Manipulation. When the subject's hands comes in contact with any element or ability, he uses it in his combat style to counterattack his opponent. Oh, that explains how he was able to combat King Bowser so easily. But what was with that blast he fired? Sure enough, when she backs out, she clicks on the first technique titled Hammer of Dawn. As stated by subject, when he gathers enough fire and electricity, he concentrates it in a single blast of energy, with the downside of having a massive backblast and intense recoil. Okay. She leans back in her chair and puts her hand under her chin. This is all so much to process just for looking at so little of what there is. Then there is the last thing on the list, but it's only one word: summon. She leans forward, grabs the mouse, and clicks on the label. Unfortunately, it is locked, but it requires the input of a password. She looks at the hacking program and sees the required password. She types in the password, and the technique is now available to see. She reads through what the technique of summon is very carefully. As she reads it, she stops. Her eyes widen, her hands move away from the mouse and keyboard, and she leans away from the desktop. Wait, that's how he summons Gamera? All of the rumors that she heard are actually true. I got to warn Eleanor. She grabs the phone and begins dialing on the number. Her bedroom door bursts open. Madison's head snaps to her left. AMF soldiers, led by Chloe Harrington and Jose Vargas, rushes into the room and aims their weapons at her. Freeze! On the floor! Now! Without hesitation, Madison complies to what the mutant soldier tells her to do. She lays on her stomach and her hands lay flat on the floor. Chloe stands over her and freezes her wrists to the floor. Jojo looks at the desktop, then looks at Madison. Squad, secure the room. The soldier scans the room on all sides. Chloe looks up at the desk. She spots the phone and the piece of paper with the phone number. Right away, she notices it. That's Sis's phone number. How did you get that? She gave it to me so that I can inform her of what I found. Of course she fucking did. Listen, Miss Harrington, your sister, she left 5 minutes ago to find Dragonborn. Jojo and Chloe look at each other, frightened by this revelation. Harrington tells the squad to take Madison into custody and tells Jojo that the two of them need to get to Hellraiser, and quick. The two mutants rushes out of the room. They rush down the stairs and exit the apartment. Their commanding officer, Jason Mooring, informs them that they heard gunfire and explosions from the park. Without wasting another moment, Chloe creates an icy path. Jojo hops on, and like a slide, they move into the park to find both Honda and Eleanor as fast as they can. In the big wreck ball field, Eleanor bats away a ghostly horse summoned by the Mongolian hitman. Baluma, mounted on his own ghostly horse, rams into Mario and Luigi, protecting their friend. Honda gets to his knees. Suddenly, his body starts to ache. He holds his stomach and drops to his side. Guys, I got a problem. I think we all have a problem. Green and red fire appears in the brothers' hands. They push the hitman away by 5 yards. I mean, I got a real problem. He's actively forcing himself out. I can't hold him down for much longer. You have to tell them. Soon they will know. You're not helping. The Mario brothers knows what's going on. The situation has become a lot worse. But still, they create flaming hammers and stands their ground. Zeus! Balama! You have to stop! You need to get far away from me as possible! Why the hell would I let you get away again? For God's sakes, woman, just listen to me for once! Oh, fuck. Enough! It's time to end this! Stay out of this, Mongol! She whips the Mongolian hitman away and swings her electric sword at the Mario brothers. The two blocks it, but not enough, as it sends the two flying over Honda and landing on their backs. Ghidorah looks ahead and sees the brothers. A flash of memory enters his mind where it shows the brothers in the exact same way, but with blood everywhere in the room. Coming back to reality, Honda struggles to even control his body. Eleanor, with her sword in hand, walks to him. Suddenly, the sound of her sister's voice telling her to stop catches her attention. Chloe and Jojo steps off of the icy path and aims the weapons at her. Stand down! You can't be serious. I'm telling you to stand down! Hellraiser's face grows even more angrier. The Mongolians closes in. Jojo aims his M1 Garand at them. Mario and Luigi gets beside them with their hammers ready. Ellie, this is the wrong time to do this! You don't know what you're getting yourself into! Eleanor's only response is aiming her sword at Honda. This bullshit comes to an end. The sword charges up. She reels it back. Eleanor! She stops from swinging her sword at him. You've always wondered how Dragonborn is able to summon Gamera? Well, you're looking at him. The different voice from before just came out of Honda's mouth again.
Alert, alert, alert. Category 4 Colossus detected. Range, 5 yards.
The pagers attached to every AMF soldier goes off with a loud alarm. Honda slowly gets to his hands and knees. He breathes heavily. Then he looks all around. I'm sorry. I did what I could do. His red eyes turns into bright green. Get ready. His body jerks uncontrollably. Bones crack. He gasps for air. His back bulges. Hellraiser steps back a little in concern. As Honda screams at the top of his lungs, a smooth-back turtle-like shell appears on his back, ripping his shirt off. His upper body arches up. Two saber-toothed tiger-like tusks grows in his jaw, and his regular teeth sharpens. He falls on his hands, then reels back up again, letting out a vicious roar. The sound of the roar can be heard for 10 miles away. Close by, the crowd reels back in horror and worry. Eleanor recognizes the roar as she has heard it before. Suddenly, Honda's body grows, tearing off the clothing and shoes. His skin darkens. Claws appears in his hands and feet. A tail grows, and his face changes. Jojo and Chloe tells everyone to get clear. The Mongolians rides on their ghostly horses away from the area, as does everyone else in separate directions. Chloe, with her sister, stops at a safe distance and looks back. The man turned into a monster, grows at the height of 80 meters. Eleanor Harrington cannot believe her eyes. The Mongolians and human onlookers watching this can't believe it either. A monster that could have been a beneficiary has now revealed himself once again. However, it is not in the way that they have expected it. For the AMF and the Mario brothers, this is the worst case scenario. The monster turns his head to the left. In his sights are the Mongolians who were trying to kill Honda. Then he looks behind him. The sight of Hellraiser and the Ice Queen comes into view. Gamera has returned and has set his sights on his target. Inside of an endless blackened void, Honda is all alone, huddled like a ball. He is ashamed of what has happened. All of his efforts, all of his power, all of his will, he has tried to keep him under control. In the end, it has come to nothing, for he has been released, and through a window-like vision, he can only watch. A large turtle shell with a rigid yet smooth carapace, a long tail, 5 clawed digits on its human-like hands and reptile-like feet, dark blue-green skin, 2 elongated tusks on his jaw, a mouthful of sharp teeth, and bright green eyes. The human civilians are terrified. In their eyes, they witnessed a man turn into a monster. In the eyes of Mario, Luigi, Chloe, Jojo, and the AMF, it is too late. To the Mongolians, it is a shocking revelation. For Eleanor, she cannot believe it. The monster she saw as a kid was right in front of her the whole time. The turtle's left eye is locked with the Harrington sisters. The sound of his growls shakes the bones within everyone. He turns his body. His first step shakes the ground, creating a mini earthquake. His entire body is now facing Hellraiser and her sister. Gamera inhales and unleashes another vicious roar. The human civilians flee as fast as they can. A call goes out to all the soldiers near the park by Brigadier General Gordon.
All units, be advised. The turtle is out. Repeat, the turtle is out. Watch your fire around civilians.
Jojo posts Garen on his back, grabs the M72 Law, and runs to get in front of Gamera. The Mongolians ride on their ghostly horses away from the monster, escaping their pursuers. Abrams tanks along the streets turns their 120mm turrets at the monster. The commanders in the tanks instructs their gunners to not shoot at the shell, but aim for his stomach or head. The loaders load in monster armor-piercing sabers in the chambers and waits for the commander's order to fire. Drivers advance slowly on the road. On the street that is on Gamera's left side, they have a clear visual of the target's head. The gunners opens fire, and the shells hits his face, but it does not get his attention. The turtle falls forward on his hands and walks on all fours towards Hellraiser. Gamera walking on all fours causes the ground to constantly shake. The tank stabilization allows their guns to remain on target. However, those outside of tanks, running is a difficult challenge. The Harringtons loses their balance and falls on their hands and knees. Gamera stops above them. He lifts his right hand and swipes away trees. The trees smacks against houses, roads, and sidewalks. 12 civilians gets hit and dies. Gamera lifts his hand up again and swings it towards the sisters. Chloe unleashes an ice ball at it and the giant hand stops just short of the two. She then freezes his other hand to the ground. As the turtle tries to break free, Jojo catches up and all three of them run. Gamera breaks free of his icy trap. He lifts himself up from his hands and stands back on his hind legs. His eyes homes in on the three like an eagle or hawk. 5 Abrams tanks opens fire at the turtle's face. However, the shells passes through him. The body fades away. The monster appears once again in front of the fleeing class as mutants. It catches them off guard. They have never seen a monster move that quick. Gamera stomps on the ground, throwing the three off of their feet. Eleanor grabs her sister, throws an electro spear at his face, and gets away from the monster. Jojo launches a rocket at Gamera and reloads. The turtle steps over him and goes after the sisters. The AMS 507 infantry platoon stands in front of the Young Museum with their M72s aiming at the monster. The sisters jumps over the building and the soldiers opens fire. The rockets hit the turtle's stomach, but the damage output was minimal and it doesn't stop him. Gamera crushes the 8 men and women under his feet and crashes through the museum, continuing his pursuit. Debris flies in the air and falls near the sisters, some of which nearly hits them. Gamera stops in his tracks. He grows tired of this. His mouth glows bright orange. Flames fume inside of his mouth like a furnace. Chloe turns her head back and sees Gamera unleashing a ball of fire from his mouth. She stops herself and Eleanor and creates an ice bubble shield. The fireball slams onto the shield, exploding on impact. The blast blows away trees and bushes and sets other trees ablaze. The pressure of the blast is too much for the Ice Queen, but she does not give in. 200 yards away, Mario and Luigi are guiding civilians to bunkers away from the danger zone. Hearing the explosion in the distance, they can't help but want to get involved, but being Class A mutants, this is out of their league. Meanwhile, Gamera digs his hand into the ground and drags it across, flinging dirt, rocks, trees, and the sisters, who are still in the ice bubble, into the air. The bubble disappears, but Hellraiser stops in midair and catches Chloe. Suddenly, Gamera appears beside them and fires another fireball from his mouth. He misses and the fireball hits the side of the Rum Post Plaza in downtown San Francisco. A huge portion of the tower is blown out and 60 people are killed. Falling debris crashes to the ground below, killing 5 more people. Eleanor gathers both electricity and fire into her right arm. Then she fires a hypercannon directly at Gamera's face. The blast, however, misses when Gamera ducks his head halfway into his shell. The head pops back out and fires another fireball, but the ball misses. The turtle continues to fire a constant volley of fireballs. Each one misses, however, the blast hits multiple areas, destroying houses and killing tens of civilians who gets caught in the crossfire. One of the fireballs explodes on a group of 15 civilians near the Giovannis. The two are sent off of their feet by the shockwave. Eleanor, holding on to her sister, fires another hypercannon, hitting a fireball. The projectiles collide, but the ball of flames overcomes the hypercannon. Chloe creates a bubble shield, and the fireball explodes on the two. The blast of the explosion sends the sisters flying towards the ground below. The Ice Queen creates a secondary barrier, and as they crash, it cushions their impact. Eleanor loses her grip and crashes on the side of an apartment complex. The shield disappears, and Chloe runs to check on her sister as Gamera closes in. Eleanor gets up, but collapses to her knees. She has used up so much mana that her body can barely move. Chloe still has some mana, but it is not enough to escape. Gamera stops 5 yards away. To the sisters, there is no point in trying to run on foot. To Kenjiro Honda inside of the dark abyss, there is nothing that he can do. His own friends are about to die right in front of him. Suddenly, a flash of memory enters his mind. In the memory are the sisters as children, in the exact same situation, surrounded by rubble and fire. A realization dawns on Dragonborn, which fills him with unyielding rage. The turtle opens his mouth and is about to fire one last fireball. The sisters holds on to each other and braces for it. That's enough! A crackling thunder echoes in the air. The flames within the turtle's mouth is extinguished. The monster's head recoils and he backs away from the sisters by 4 steps. The Harringtons themselves look at the monster with confusing looks. What is the meaning of this? You and I are going to have a little chat. What? I was just about to... Shut up and get us away from here. But he can't! The beast is shocked. He reels his head up and roars into the sky. The fires that are spread all over the park and neighborhoods lifts into funnels. The funnels travels to the turtle and absorb into his body, clearing up everything. The turtle falls on his hands. He tucks his head into his shell, then his arms, legs, and finally his tail. The shell drops to the ground like an anvil. This confuses the humans and mutants who are witnessing this. Jets of fire burst out of the left armhole, followed by another jet coming out of the right armhole. 2 more burst out of the leg holes. Everyone backs away from the monster. Getting to a safe distance, they watch the monster once again. The body starts to move. No, lift off of the ground. The jets propels the beast into the air and ascends in altitude. He stops at 250 meters in the air. The body starts to spin clockwise, picking up speed in the process, with the jets of flame creating an unusual sound. Gamera is now spinning like a flying saucer. The monster flies away from the park, out of San Francisco, over the Pacific Ocean. Then he comes out of visual contact. The Harringtons, Vargas, Giovannis, and everyone else are perplexed, confused, and frightened, because Gamera can now travel anywhere he goes. Where he is heading to, no one knows for sure.